What's up, guys? It's TJ, and I'm making a video response to a dude who's asking, is age a big factor in the Juggalo world? Well, I'm going to do my best to explain this to you, man. I understand that you'd be pissed if people would consider you fake or a family kid because of your age, because you're only 16, right? Well, a long time ago, back in the day, they had an expression called pulling the fam card. And that was always used for people who were overusing the word family and trying to exploit and, get something out of other people. It's like any stupid kid off the streets can learn how to speak. And there's a lot of expressions out there. What up, playa? What up, son? Or what up, juggalo? What up, ninja? What up, fam? And, kids rule the world, If they start some shit, it becomes a part of, culture. You know what I'm saying? The slang and the computer age have kind of merged together. Much clown love has become MCL. You got much motherfucking clown love. Or, I like the way Monoxide has embraced laughing like a lunatic instead of LMFAO. That's just something. They're cool like that. But it's the same shit. There's a grip of old school ninjas who absolutely refuse to follow trends. Okay, that's the first thing you got to remember. So all they can do is sit back and watch in horror as kids throw out these mutilated terms, and really juggalette is one of them. Juggalo is one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, ICP didn't invent these words. Okay, they might have started the I say stomp, you say whoop whoop, and they've made their music very interesting and they've actually incorporated the juggalos into the music, and that's a whole nother fucking video. All I'm saying is that these are like memes, you know what I'm saying? So you attach yourself to these things the way you want to, okay? And, to rep being a juggalo, it's your choice, just like you choose to rep MCL or the word fam, okay? That's all that is. And life experience brings wisdom, okay? That's just something I gotta throw out there. The more time you spend on the internet is time taken away from actually living life and finding out what the real deal is. So I'll just give you a short little quick story here. I was in Cleveland, Ohio for Twisted's New Year's Evil 5, okay? Nothing but family love, juggalos everywhere. Since Twisted has left Psychopathic, at the actual show, there wasn't any issue. The worst I heard was, someone asking someone else, like, so what do you feel? And the response was, but it wasn't hate, and it wasn't life or death, you know what I'm saying? Because they actually really still support Twisted, whether or not they're on the label, on the hatchet, okay? What they do represent still is the family. The family is prevailing beyond the label. That much is true. And Twisted's on television, talking about family, and they're on stage talking about family. They're always representing family. So that word family is kind of the hot button word that is being thrown around and overused sometimes, okay? And the family kid is just like someone who's pulling the fam card and trying to say, well, you got to do this or that because we're family. I mean, you don't got to do anything because of anything. And pulling the fam card has always been a big no-no and always puts you on someone's shit list when it comes to social behavior or something like that. But when I'm at Twisted's New Year's Evil 5, I'm in the hotel, just kicking back, waiting for the VIP and to meet Twisted, and I'm watching this documentary about Duke College basketball, Duke University, and they had all these footage from over the years of the fans going fucking crazy over Duke basketball, and these guys are going wild. They got their faces painted, and they got all this like ritualistic stuff they do to throw off the other team, and just like fucking going ape shit. so passionate, and and they're just talking about this, and the people that were reflecting on it, they're like, young people just want to go crazy. Why not do it at a basketball game? And that's so true, man. Like, young people just want to go crazy, so why not do it at a Juggalo show? Okay, but there was this other guy who's like, yeah, you look back and these are like Ivy League school, people, and they're all painting their faces and like camping out in line to go see this one event, and it becomes a whole like community, and he calls them all fucking nerds. He's like, anyone who is doing that, they're all fucking nerds. You know what I mean? Okay, Star Wars nerds, juggalos, metalheads that just get decked out in flannel. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's dressed up for some occasion. And I fell in love with concerts a long time ago when I was like your age. When I was like 16, I started falling in love with concerts. That live experience was fucking dope. And I went to as many as I could go to. And when I saw ICP, they were one of the wildest. And I don't know, man, like, you've been listening to ICP for 7 years. Like, oh, by the way, nice Iron Maiden poster you got there. I've been listening to Iron Maiden the same amount of time I've been listening to ICP. I discovered that shit at the same time. Just like accidentally, well, I didn't accidentally, but I bought my first ICP CD and my first Iron Maiden CD at the same time, okay, when I was your age. And shit, man. How old were you when you started listening to Iron Maiden? Ask yourself this. Is it anybody's business? You ever see that movie Almost Famous? With Kate Hudson? Alright, so this kid, his older sister, hands down all her records, right, to her little brother. And her record collection's like all this rock and roll. And she's like, light a candle and listen to Tommy's The Who. Or, I'm sorry, The Who's Tommy. And you'll see your future. Okay? Music is made for kids. For young, open minds. Always has been. And, you're at that age where your mind is open and you're listening to shit and you're discovering your tastes and you're becoming a man, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying the music has been made for you, and it always has been. ICP were your age when they started fucking making music. The rift between older juggalos and the newer juggalos is that everything that you're talking about today, we have beaten to death, dead horse status, on message boards, fucking back when you were just fresh out of diapers, man. And no offense, because, you know what I'm saying, like, I was fresh out of diapers when Iron Maiden just got started making music, and the only problem is that ICP's fucking shows are off the hook on a whole other level. Getting doused with Faygo. It's kind of like, paying to go inside of the madhouse, and then the audience is the freak show. And, before that concert, that I went to, before I actually saw that show, and it blew my mind away, how awesome it was. I didn't pay attention until then. And I started paying attention to the music and going back and listening careful, and then seeing how there were all these like backwards stuff and hidden, phone numbers. And it was really, it was built to, the more you dig into it, the more you find. And it was a slow burning story that led to the Six Jokers card, you know what I'm saying? But the stuff I was listening to before that, when I was like 9 years old, 10 years old, all the way up until when I was 16 and discovered ICP and Iron Maiden, that was the soundtrack of my youth. I got a lot of music that I listened to my whole life, and that's the thing, I love music. If you don't love music, you're probably not going to like ICP. That's for one thing. A lot of people that don't like ICP and they fell into the whole Juggalo thing is because they're just not into music. And they're like, I don't really care for ICP. But there's something else that happened after ICP did what they did, and there was a ripple effect. You know what I'm saying? So, again, when I was in Cleveland for Twisted's New Year's Evil 5, I also went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And they had TVs up, and there's like little 10 I don't know, 5 minute spurts, and they would be on repeat. So you could watch it, move on to the next one, and watch another one, and watch another one. And it was kind of like the story of censorship and hip hop. And on the wall, they had these huge murals and actual quotes written with the face of the person who was saying the quote, you know? And there's this one from Ice-T. And he was actually saying on there, and however he said it, I'm just paraphrasing, is that, Cop Killer was a protest song. And that people don't get that, you know? It's like, you can't say that on a record. But he's like, well, I know people who are getting killed by cops, and you can't do that to my people, so fuck you. I'm going to make this song. And he did. And that's kind of like ICP. They make their shit mysterious on purpose, and we used to talk about everything and anything. And honestly, it was a beautiful thing. But that core fan base of older Juggalos have all kind of grown into different opinions, and they were all in the same chat room, and those chat rooms have grown and migrated onto several different domains, and every different group has its Mr. Know-It-Alls and its wannabes, and man, everybody's got kids now, and not everybody, but you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us have grown up, and we have kids, and some of these kids are down. I have friends with kids who, they're smart. They're going to handle social media and technology way smarter than we ever did while we're fucking the guinea pigs while it's coming up and we're learning this shit. They're going to actually use it to fucking do important things. And I'm just saying, the term family kid is in a discriminatory manner, is only in a small portion of the actual Juggalo family. Well-known Juggalo vloggers like TestDummy22 will fucking shit all over new Juggalos from the Bang Pow Boom era, but yet he wants all these music listeners to appreciate Psychopathic, ICP, and Twisted like he does. But you see what I'm saying? The ICP can't turn people away because they weren't down earlier. Like, they have to accept new listeners. One, they're running a business. Two, music is for everybody, motherfucko. And three, posers, man. We just don't like posers. It's very confusing. But if you're pulling the fam card, you're probably a poser. Because if like somebody pisses you off and all of a sudden they ain't your fam, now they're fucking something else, and hey, that's people. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. And let's see. One more anecdote. Like 9 years ago, I had a job. I had to wear a suit. I cleaned up pretty nice. And there's this other guy. He was a training, management training thing. So, I was actually training motherfuckers. And this dude, like, he caught wind that I liked ICP. And I really didn't put that on Front Street in my work, in my job environment. But, to relate with people, you're like, hey, what do you listen to? I'm like, oh, I like ICP. He seemed like a cool guy. Like, he could handle it. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, really? ICP? And he's like, let me show you something. And he, like, pulled up his pant leg. And he had this beautiful tattoo of the riddle box on his calf. And I was like, word, that's awesome. And he's like, yeah, I just, and I don't know what I said to him next, but whatever I said to him, it went over his head. And I realized that he didn't even listen to the album. He didn't know anything about ICP or the Joker's cards or nothing. He just saw the ICP CD in the riddle box on someone else's fucking CD collection and thought it looked cool. And so he just went and got it as a tattoo. Not even listening to the music at all. And I wanted to tear that guy's head off. I absolutely was infuriated, like, that he would tell me that and be so oblivious. He didn't even know what he didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Complete idiocy. And a lot of old school Juggalos, that's what they think of younger Juggalos. That they're just complete idiots because they don't know everything. But there's a bigger culture